Okay, observables in Angular. Actually, observables is not part of Angular. It was already there with RxJS library, but the Angular uses it for several situations, you can say. Uh, so we are going to see observables in Angular. So Angular uses observables as an interface to handle a variety of common asynchronous operations. For example, the HTTP module uses observables to handle AJAX requests and responses. The router and forms modules uses observables to listen for and respond to user input events. Observable provides support for delivering messages between different parts of single page application using subscribe and next method. Okay, so there are several ways to create observables. We'll see it one by one. So first is by creating observables object. As you see here, new observable. Then the next is by calling static function create the observable dot create. Then using off function. As we see here, we have written off function. Then there is one from function. You can see here from. Then we can concat two observables using concat method and then subscribe to it. Then we have from event function, and the next is ajax function of rxjs rxjs slash ajax package. Okay, so the first is using create the observable using the object. As we see here, we have created one observable using this new keyword and the observable constructor, as we see here. So in this way we can create observable. So as we see here, we have created this new observable and passing one callback function. This callback function will take one argument as observable, and then we can emit the values using this observer dot next function. And once we complete the emitting values, we'll complete this observable using observer dot complete method. Then the next is uh, create static create function. As we see here, observable dot create, and in the same way it takes one callback function. This callback function will take one argument as observer, and in same way observer dot next and the observer dot complete. Then next is off function. So in off function we'll create observable by passing these values, comma separated values. So this will emit the values one by one to a subscriber. And then the from function, so from and off will behaves the same, but the off function will take comma separated argument and from function will take an array of the values. Then next is we create observables by concatenating two observables, as we see here, concat, and we are passing these are the two observables, and then subscriber can subscribe to it. Then from event we can create observable from events using this from event method. This event from event method will take element and its event as arguments, as we see here. This from event taking the button element and comma, then the click event, and once this from event will create observable, we will subscribe to it. Then the next is ajax function of rxjs libraries rxjs slash ajax package. Here we can see we have give a call, Ajax call to this URL, and this Ajax method will create a observable for us, and then we can subscribe to it. So the next part is how to subscribe an observable. So it's a in a simple way, we'll just use the dot subscribe method to subscribe the observable. This dot subscribe method will take one callback function. This callback function will take a value, so this will give us emitted values one by one, and we are just logging here that value. So the next part is how to unsubscribe to observable. So here we have unsubscribe using dot unsubscribe method of observable. Okay, so the next is types of observables. So there are two types of observables. One is observable and the second is the subject. So the observables are unicast. That means we cannot send values to observables. We just can get values from them by subscribing them. But the subjects are multicasts. That is, we can send values to subjects using next function and receive values from subject by subscribing them. So the example of a subject, we create a subject object using this new subject constructor using this new keyword, and here we have subscribed to our subject. As you see here, subject dot subscribe, and have passed one callback function which will take a data. When the subject will emit new data, this subscriber will log the data here. Then the next we have called next method and passing the mat.random, that's value. We have called next method twice. So when this next method will trigger, this subscriber will log subscriber a column this random value. Then in second line, subscriber a colon of this math dot random value. Then we have again subscribed to subscriber 2, as we see here, in same way, but this won't log anything as we have not called any next method after this subscriber. We have called this next method after this subscriber, so that's why this subscriber will log these two random values, but this subscriber doesn't log any value because we haven't called any next method after this subscription. Okay, then next is types of subject. As we see here, there are three types of a subject: behavior subject, reply subject, and async subject. So the behavior subject, the behavior subject has a characteristics that it stores the current value. This means when you subscribe to behavior subject, you directly get the last emitted value from behavior subject. So the example we can see here, we have created this behavior subject object, and we have subscribed to it, and the login value we have called it as a subscriber a. Then we emitted the two random values from the subject, and then we have this another subscriber 2 and subscriber b, and then we have emitted this next next value for the subject, and then we have calling this console.log subject value. So what will happen in this case, this will uh, the subscriber a will print this value and this value, as we have emitted this value after the subscription, and you have, but in subscriber 2 will log this second map.random value, as we said the behavior subject will keep the copy of current value. So it will first time it will keep this value, Then again when we call the next method, this will store the current value, and when the subscriber 2 will subscribe to the subject, it will log the uh, value from this statement. Then again we have emitted one another random value. So in this case, this value uh, will log by this subscriber as well as this subscriber. And then we have logged subject's actual value. So here we will get the value from this statement. You just see, as we said, subscriber A have called twice, and then B, uh, at the time of subscribing, this is the same value, the last statement of the uh, next, and then the this both subscriber has logged the same value from this statement, and again we have logged subject's value here, which is same as logged by subscriber A and B. Okay, so then the next is a reply subject. So the replay subject behaves the same as a behavior subject, but it has one additional characteristics, that is it can store multiple last values emitted by reply subject. And in case of behavior subject, it will just store the last one value, and in replay subject it will store multiple last values emitted by the replay subject. While creating a replay subject, we will tell to replay subject that uh, these many last values you should record. For example, as we see here, we have created one replay subject here using this new keyword, and we are passing this argument to. It means this replay subject will record two last values emitted from this replay subject. Also, there is one another additional provision to tell the subject that for how much time you should record these last values. So as we see here, we have created this subject using the replay subject, and here we are passing two arguments. The first is number of last values should be recorded, and the second is for how much millisecond this replay subject should uh, record the last values. So as we see here, so this replay subject will record 5 values for 200 milliseconds. So we'll see the example here. We have created this replay subject object by passing two, means it means this will remember two last values. Then we have subscriber, the subscriber A, and we are emitting uh, three random values, and then we are again subscribing for a subscriber B. So and then again we have emitted another one value. So in this case, so when we subscribe it and calling this next method, this subscriber A will log these three values, and the subscriber B will log last two values, means for these two statements. And then again when we go to this line, this will be print by subscriber A and subscriber B also. As we see here, these first three logged by subscriber A, then last two logged by subscriber B, and again from this statement both the subscriber will log the values. Then we have async subject. Async subject is a also subject variant where only the last value of observable execution is sent to its subscriber, and that too only when the execution completes. So as we see here, we have created async subject here, and we have subscribed in subscriber A, and then we are calling uh, this next method three times, or this will emit the three random values one by one. Then again we are subscribing to the subject using this subscriber b, and then we are again calling the next method to emit the random value, and we have completed this subject using this subject dot complete method. So in this case what will happen, this subscriber one will won't log this statement, or even the subscriber 2 won't log this statement. But when the execution will come to this statement, once after this statement is executed, then this subscriber will get values uh, from this statement. As we said, this will remember only last value, and it will be passed to the subscriber after completing this subject or observable. So in this case, subscriber A and subscriber B will log the values from here, and that too after this complete statement, as we see here, subscriber A and a subscriber B. So that's all about the observables in Angular.